Morning all, Nimby here. Today we're going to be tying a night fighter. This type of nymph. It was originally created by Jim Tippy, and it was popularized in it was originally tied by Jim Tippy and popularized by the late Milo C. Cap Godfrey from Spokane, Washington. Well, not really sure why that broke. Let's redo that. Morning. Just let me fight with my bobbin here for a second. Morning. Yeah, hey Florida Fishing. Hey Robert. Sorry guys, I just broke my thread right off the hops. Trying to get it straightened out here. I'm not sure why it snapped on me. I was just tying it on. I might have nicked it before I put it away. There we go. Okay, so let's start that over again, since everyone's in here now. So this morning we're going to be tying a night fighter. It's a type of smaller nymph, and we're going to tie it on a size 12 here. Yeah, behave yourself, silly little bobbin. Morning, Muddy Waters. Alright, let's get this going in here. I'm still a little under the weather from this flu cold thing, so we're just doing a little bit more simple fly today until I get my feet again. So if I'm a little sniffy or I'm a little slow, you'll have to forgive me for today. Yeah, we're tying this on a size 12. It's a simple little dark nymph, hence the name Night Fighter. It was originally tied by Jim Tippy, and it was popularized by Milo C. Cap Godfrey from Spokane, Washington. Godfrey tied a lot of different really good patterns for the West Coast. So the first thing we're going to tie in is some calf tail. He originally used black calf tail. I'm just going to be using this little tab of black on this white calf tail, but it's got enough black to do the trick for us. If you don't have black calf tail, you can really use any black fibers you got. No worries, enjoy it. Hey, at least you get a new coat. Now, kind of the whole point of the black calf tail on the tail is going to be a little bit of wispiness and movement. So if you don't have black calf tail, you can use anything. You can mix some black hackle fibers in with some softer black fibers from the bottom. Thank you. I like to see numbers go up. Makes me happy. All the dopamine stuffy stuff. Alright, calf tail's a little bit of annoying thick, a little bit. It's a lot of an annoying material to work with, but it gives you a really interesting finished product at the end. So most of the time, it's well worth the fight. We don't need a lot here. The original pictures I saw looked like they had about 5 to 7 fibers tied in, so unfortunately I kind of wore a bit of a dark shirt this morning. That works a little better there. You can see how much I'm tying in there. Just gonna do a loose wrap and try and gather all those wispy ends if I can. Ooh, looks like I got a white one mixed in there. Oh, that didn't go as well as I wanted to. One second, I guess we'll regather that. It's a problem with calf tail. It's really kind of slippy and it's extremely curly and puffy. But those characteristics also make it very lifelike in the water. There we go. So we just want a shuck of black trailing off, a little bit longer from all the pictures I have, a little bit longer than the gap height. So just like that, and I'll try and get it on my white. There you go. Just a little puff of black sticking out the back. That's pretty much smack on. So that one's actually maybe a hair long. We're shooting for more like about a gap and a half. That might be closer to 2, but we'll go with it this morning. The next material we're going to be tying in is going to be a peacock eye hurl. So we're going to be taking a hurl from down here. And I just happen to have a hurl that's already cut off. So these are the ones we're going to be using. Now we're not stripping it like you would on a lot of other flies. This is one of the few flies that calls for it unstripped. So we're going to pull that off. And we're going to want to cut off fairly up because this is generally pretty brittle down in here. We're going to want to cut it off and tie in the thicker part first instead of the thinner. That's the interesting part about this pattern is it's a little kind of backwards to some other nymphs that you'll be tying. Normally you tie it in thin end first. I'm going to bring the thread up to kind of a working point there. And tie this in along my side of the whole body. There we are. And back. And we'll just throw a half hitch in there for good luck. Now these are rather small nymphs. From what my reading shows me, that Godfrey typically fished these on 14s. But he also tied them up to 12s. We're using a 12 today just for benefit of camera. Excuse me. I got a little tea here. Sorry, I'm still not feeling 100% yet. But we'll push through. Now the tips on these can be pretty brittle too, so I'm just gonna run my fingernail down. That broke off right there. So I made this a little shorter than I wanted it to, but it's always gonna break where it's gonna break. And it's better it breaks in your fingernail than on the fly. Okay, let's get this up in the hanger there. Okay, so you basically just want touching turns because you want this to... Oh, what are you doing, buddy? Hold on. Did he snap? He did. Alright, like I was saying. And I already threw my half hitch in there, so let's just get rid of this piece. I'm gonna get a new one. I say, and the bottom bit can be pretty fragile on the peacock eye parts, so let's grab another, tie it in there. If the peacock, I don't have one ready for me here, but if your peacock is giving you trouble like that, you can soak them in water, and that'll make a big difference for you. This may force me to do that, but we'll see how it goes. I'll try and be gentle with it. The idea of this nymph is just super simple, dark nymph that can imitate black stoneflies or small dragonfly nymphs. But it'll have a different look, hopefully if I get this correct here. It'll have a much different look on the body. Oh, sorry man, it's 6 in the morning, it's not time to party, and I'm not feeling good, so we're gonna skip you. There we go. That's a little better. Alright. Oh, sorry about the material breaking there. We should be good to go now. We're not going to chase this with any sort of wire or anything, although I have seen pictures of people tying it with a copper wire chase to it, which would make it a lot more durable. So that is an option for you if you're finding that it's coming apart too often. But it's just a very thin-bodied, simple little nymph guy. And there's plenty of little midge bugs that this would help represent in the water. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it's just going to cut off the waist bit. Oh, it just pops off. Yeah. Well, happy little conveniences, eh? There we go. Okay, the only other challenging part of the fly, besides fighting with the tail, is going to be the hackle on it, which is just a black. I can't see it through the bag. Let me get her out here anyway. Black hen hackle. And if you don't have hen hackle, this is just a net craft, regular hen neck. If you don't have black hen hackle, you can just use any dark soft hackle that you have kicking around. So like upland game bird, like a grouse would be perfectly fine. Some darker parts of a pheasant would work well too. This would be the traditional one though. Just trying to find a nice size here. Just want it longer but not too long. And we don't need a lot either. Sorry, just kind of fighting with them because they're stubby. There we go. Pulled out a couple too many, but That's good. We'll get a few of these tied up. So that's what I'm working with. Roughly about the size of the fly. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll get there, mate. Small part of things. Fever's pretty much gone now. It's just this, just the leftovers of the flu. Yeah, no, quite a few of us seem to be suffering with whatever this is. Okay, so I'm just prepping the end here. I'm going to be cutting it off. Make a little triangle to tie in. There we go. Probably not going to need as much as I got here to wrap in. Oh, sorry, Robert. I didn't know you were talking to Florida there. Like I said, brain power is doing everything it can. All right. Oh, buddy. I must have a nick spot in this because I'm not pulling too hard on this thread, but it broke again. So I'm gonna retie that back in. Just gonna make my head a little bit thicker than I want it to be, but that's life. All right. What I'm shooting for on this one is I want a full wrap or two and then sweeping it back a bit. So probably got about 3 or 4 wraps worth in this. Oh yeah, tell me about it. As much as I love kids, they are the little germ magnets. Yeah, that's true. You're in a school, so I used to work in a call center and a airport, and those weren't any better. Especially the airport. There was ridiculously sick people there all the time. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you traveling? Okay, I think we got, really hard for me to see, but I think we got enough wraps in there, so. Here we are. Yeah, we're not trying to float this thing. Soft tackle. Yeah, for sure. Air travel's the worst. I've gotten sick more from air travel than pretty much anything else. Yeah, I'm just gonna pin these back with my fingers. Just gonna wet them slightly. Just gonna be pulling back across them. That'll pin them down, and then we'll tie them back with some soft medium wraps. Just getting softer as I'm getting closer to the actual hackle. Then we'll move back forward. And I'm using 6/0, so it's gonna take me a minute here, but I'm gonna build up a decently bulbous head because it's an nymph. Hindsight, I probably should have used 8/0 on this. There's not much reason to be using 6. Other than a thinner body, but that'll probably do. Yeah, for the most part, it's just, well, a little bit depending on the pattern that you're tying, but if you're talking about like dry fly hackle anyway, The major thing is you want to be able to float your fly, so it needs to be on that angle. 7-1. Probably. There we are. Oh, that's all good, Robert. That's exactly what we're here for, mate. I could do up some dry fly later, and we can go over hackle size and angles and all that. You can kind of see it on this one here, anyway, even though it's not a dry fly, but that angle from your tail to the hackle tips. Let's get the white of my shirt up there so you can see a little better. That angle is what you're shooting for. So for the most part, you want that to be just at the round of the bend of the hook, or just below it, so that way it's floating the hook out of the water. And of course, with dry fly, it'd be straight up and down. But that angle is what you're shooting for. So it depends a little bit on the style of the dry fly you're going for how long the tail is going to be. And that's why your tails are generally going to be the hook shank and length, pointing out back. So that way when you tie in the correct size of hackle, it gives you that angle that you're looking for, which is I don't know, about 32 or so, give or take. And again, depends a little bit on the style of hook that you're tying on, because each hook has a little bit different bend to it, and all that good stuff. And if you're a little bit off one way or the other, it really isn't going to make any difference in the world. But if you're going for perfect proportions, I have some great old hand-drawn pictures that are in my community tab, but if you can't dig them up, I'll repost them. That give you all the general proportions for dry and wet flies for hackle and all that. But that's, when you boil it down, that's really what your proportions are trying to do, is to give you that proper angle for flotation. And there's always exceptions to that rule. There's some patterns that are just a little out there and wonky. That's okay. But again, as a general, most of them are tied in at that. So if your hackle that you have, or yeah, if you can find them. If not, like I said, I'll post them up today. I gotta post something anyway. So I'll dig them up and repost them. I haven't done any dry flies in a bit. I've been working on all these different nymph patterns. But I'll get back into some dries here. We're actually moving on to streamers after a couple more nymphs here. Where did my headsman go? There we are. But yeah, simple little nymph. The head's probably just a hair bigger than I would have wanted on there. But nothing crazy, like maybe a thread length or two longer. All the pictures I've seen, he had pretty decent bulbous heads on this, kind of like a salmon fly streamer head. And it is imitating a little dark nymph, and they have pretty sizable little black heads on them generally. So I guess I shouldn't put myself down too much there. It's not too bad. Hey, scrawny little dude, but that's what he is. Yeah, I'd like that, mate. Okay, so I'll do my rotation and spiel here. That's a night fighter nymph. This was originally tied by Jim Tippy and was popularized shortly after by the late Milo C. Cap Godfrey of Spokane, Washington. This would have been tied in the 50s to 60s, was really common. It's just a really thin little dark nymph that works wonders when you're when you're trying to imitate like a small stonefly, mayfly nymph, or even there's lots of different midge patterns in the water, or midges, that this will help imitate. It's got a little shuck of black calf tail. Its body is tied with a wrapped, unstripped peacock curl or peacock quill eye, and its hackle is a black sparse hen hackle. If you don't have black sparse hen hackle, you can use uh, any dark soft hackle will work fine. So an upland game bird or what have you. It's just to imitate some legs. And it works a treat when you get all the new little baby nymphs coming out. If you're fishing in the small streams or a mouth or an inlet or outlet to a stream, this would be a great little pattern to tie on and do some searching with. Excuse me. Yep, simple little fly this morning with a little bit of history tossed in there. We're gonna toss him. My corks are getting all full. I need to get rid of some of these. We'll just toss him right here for now. Ugh. There he goes. Okay. Fortunately, I'm just gonna do one fly, guys. Like I said, I'm still recovering from this flu, so I just thought it'd be better to jump in here and have some morning tea with you guys and not. Gotta get back on the horse. All right. Yeah, I'll try and get those pictures reposted for you there, Robert, because they're really handy for everyone. Not that I mean to repost on the channel too often, but it's one of those things that I reference quite commonly myself too. So, are you more interested in wet hackle or dry, or does it matter much? Okay, no worries, mate. We're gonna be wrapping up here shortly. Thanks for dropping in, mate. Appreciate it. Good luck with the hot water pump. We'll probably do up a few more of those later. Take care, Robert. Thanks for stopping in, mate. Alright, hi, wrapper up there. Thanks all for hanging out with me this morning. Sorry for the shorter stream, but again, just not feeling 100%. So we're gonna cut her off here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be up to a few more then.